Greetings and welcome to the energy of Capricorn. Thank you for tuning in. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. I do thank you for your continued support of the channel as well as the work of the Order of the Twin Sun. We are dealing here now with the 10th house, and within this pillar or this axis of this type of connection. Okay. We are dealing here with others who are supposed to foster a sense of meaning, that begin the path to self-realization, that begin the path to disintegration of the self that actually produces the realization part of it. There's a great irony and a great karma that revolves around the 10th house that has to do with the wanting to produce realities, and in doing so, it encumbering us with the nature of the wheel, the spinning potter's wheel. Okay, the idea here is to reach a point of cardinal knowing. Okay, in the center point of that wheel, in order to live by and produce effects of the third and the fifth houses. Okay, this has to do with communicating in a joyful way, communicating with the innocence of a child, communicating in a most creative and truthful way. Ways and means that point to the finger of God in the ninth and the 11th houses. Okay, what this has to do with in this axis, the general gist of it, is producing modes of truthful realities that can be lived by in terms of dharma, in terms of also karmic effects that produce wholesomeness of some sort. Okay, and that is the whole idea of at least the 10th house in terms of the pillars, the 6 pillars of the zodiac, which I'll eventually write a book about. Let's get into the reading. I told you. Okay. There is a student and a master here. There also is the family of thoughts. Okay, the collective here. Okay. So on the quest for truth or on the quest for voice, there's something that Capricorn is dealing with now in terms of the 10th house. It has to do with realities that produce a wholesome effect. Okay. So there's a practicality here, the mind of conservation, okay, that is slowly looking into the past to understand and become a student of what was said or what was thought of in the past, okay, something that may have been forgotten, okay. This is a quest that's it's like letting go of a pain collectively. Okay, this is a very deep and profound reading, considering that this has to do with false structures of the mind on a collective level, and how the energy of Capricorn can find a wholesomeness in it all. Okay, the irony is that on any quest on the paths of swords, it ultimately leads to pain. There is nothing that can represent pure thought in its most highest form unless you are a master of concentrated effort in this realm. Okay. The difficulty is that on a collective level, people are going through mania, and there's something about you that wants to cling to your reality in order to produce an effect of stability, and that is a very smart and wise thing to do. So if you were to actually go to your everyday work habits or behavioral doings. There's something about this that produces an effect of conservation and beauty, as well as wholesomeness in this. The thoughts of the mind are not entirely your own. They are affected by collective generations. Okay, and these are generationally looking back to the past to scrutinize and criticize the past. Okay, thoughts in general, and these swirl in in a numbing sort of way, the riddles of the mind. And there's something that Capricorn can find in terms of a very recent project, okay, that is the gateway into newness, and it's something that you're holding on to, something that is a part of an order of the world around you. I think this is a very positive reading. Fucking genius. Um, in terms of that, uh, don't let this become a burden. Find a way to be compassionate to others and to be practical in a compassionate way to others. Okay. Now let's move into a more specific reading that has to do with the energy of Capricorn and the fourth house, the seventh from the 10th. Okay. This produces a vision through the Great Mirror, a 9 card spread that will hopefully show Capricorn and a significant other in a very relevant way. This goes from conscious, subconscious, unconscious levels of representation, timeless in nature, yet also can be temporal. So we'll go ahead and look into that now. Okay, this type of connection helps to define the self cardinal, the self's nature within Capricorn. The cardinal nature, the modality of Capricorn is here. And what is that? That is a way to crystallize. Okay, this is alchemy. Crystallize in a very forward-moving way connections and uh, meaning within the realities that Capricorn is here to produce. Okay, there's a motherly type of energy here that has to do with essentially bringing forward objects. Okay, and these objects essentially being a representation of the incarnation of Capricorn to bring forward essentially these these things we can relate to. Okay, um, and these structures or these ways of doing things that are pragmatic, that are realistic in a way to bring about further relations with others. Okay, um, it's a very interesting way of seeing others, especially this specific other person who's dealing with mostly a need to become whole again. What you would provide them is a type of balance. If you wanted to, I think you are called to go other places. They may have your attention for this time being in this particular reading. This is someone whom you don't usually think about. Not usually, but your intentions are good. There's something nurturing. They see you as someone who is nurturing in some sort of way and who plays by the rules generally, and that's something that you want to adhere to. You want to be the executor of karma, whether it's good or bad, in terms of this connection. There's a way of producing truth from a very deep and intense 8th and 12th house nexus here. That has to do with what exactly? It has to do with the movement okay, from the deep into the expanse of the wide seas of existence, okay. It's very interesting considering this type of connection requires a way and doing things methodologically in order to produce balance for others, to produce also new paths, and to produce also a way of doing things that would be healthy for all those concerned. This type of connection moves from the 10th to the 12th houses as well. There's something about this movement that has to do with a humanitarian ideal that needs to be expressed, that needs to be healed in some sort of way. Forgiveness, compassion, as well as letting go. But at the same time, um, the karma in this type of connection is very great, and it's something that you are good at. Uh, um, you're good at tugging at each other's heartstrings when it comes to it. Um, Not that there is a lot of emotion here. I see here mostly practical actions, okay, that come from the South Node and come through the auspices of Mars on their end to bring about an effect, okay? This effect, let's see here, it helps to foster a type of, it would be the Four of Pentacles, an emotional resonance, a way of doing things, a way of bringing about a holistic way of doing things. Okay, so already this type of reading. I'm going to step back a little bit. Um, it brings about essentially the Four of Pentacles, which is a way of conservation, an efficiency. Okay, as well as a realistic pragmatism. Okay, that can be sardonic or sarcastic in nature. Um, Meaning that it's an imbalanced type of thing because you would be giving more to them than they would to you. It's not exactly equal. It's not balanced, and perhaps that's something that you were seeking in terms of this connection. The mystery of this is that um, they don't they question your motives. They question you because you are mysterious in nature to them. You cannot be understood. Um, Also, this type of connection, it empowers both of you, but it is a type of connection that is karmic in nature, that is very much conditional. Okay, meaning that there are trappings within this type of connection that would be very difficult for it to make it equal or even to the parties concerned. Um, let's see here. It's a very challenging reading, I'll tell you that much. Okay. So in terms of the bridge work that could be done here, there's healing that has to do with new paths, that has to do with leaps of faith, okay? We have Aquarius on one end, as well as Dépoilement, the 12th house, Cancer energy, as well as Pisces energy, and we have Aries energy here. This is a significant connection in that it has to do with the death of the old and the coming of the new. It moves from the 11th to the 12th to the first houses. Okay, so this is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new, meaning that you could be stuck in first the 11th or 12th houses. This could be a friend. This could be also a friend who has fallen in the type of trappings of conditional warfare in terms of the romantic realm, taking that to excess, and then eventually it producing the effect of closure, and then comes the new path. Um, I think here in this type of connection, there is a way to think about and let go of hindrances, okay, to liberate oneself of the thoughts that may riddle this type of connection. Ultimately, though, it's still mysterious, and there is a draw to it, a very strong, dark draw to it that needs to be understood. And perhaps that's why you want to create balance for this person in some sort of way, but you are called to other new, different, and variant realities that don't involve them. There is a type of person here that needs help, that you would forever help, but it's difficult because you are called to do other things. And perhaps this type of connection represents most of all this card in particular, okay, which is the High Priestess in the reverse. And this High Priestess is, by and large, the best card of the deck, in that it represents the purity and the untouchable quality of the priestess. Okay, it also signifies uh, uh, the etheric links that we hold with people, the karmic links that we hold with people, that have to be tended to, that have to be resolved or disintegrated in order to find the methodology of the path, okay? How to walk the path in the most righteous and the most healthy way for all those concerned without being befuddled, okay? It's a very deep, it's a very deep card, very deep position as well. It's the very center, the nexus of this reading, meaning that there's something about this type of connection that has to do with the observation of the way things turned out, okay, and how you can find healthy resolutions to understand the mystery of it all, okay. So although this type of reading is all over the place, there is a focal point here that has to do with essentially knowledge, wisdom, and knowing that even in the most terribly romantic and confusing escapades of the human sort of conditioning, how we can explore these paths. There's an unconditional nature here that has to do with the path of healing mostly, okay? And perhaps that's something that Capricorn would have to do with this type of connection, something that you can't contribute to anymore. There is an imbalance that needs to be resolved and new paths that need to be understood by embracing the purity of truth, purity of mind. And even though this represents a very intense connection, a very passionate one, there's something about the 10th house rising up into the 11th and the 12th, okay, and then back to the 6th. So there's a type of resolution here, revolution, that can occur, but it requires time and patience, and most of all, um, healing. Okay, that is what I see for the energy of Capricorn for the month of February 2022. Happy Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year to all of you, and we welcome in the water tiger, which is a catch which actually really enjoys water once they're swimming in it, and it's something that resonates in terms of emotional catharsis. So something that can be a way to empower others to seek out, ways and means of balance in in cleanly emotional expression. Okay, so hopefully that that rings a bell or two. I do thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you. Bye bye.